Hey guys, Toyota Pro here. Today I want to do a quick video on leasing versus buying. It's something I get a lot of questions about. Should I lease a car? How does leasing work? What's the difference between leasing and buying? So I lease my cars personally. I've had I've leased 3 vehicles. It's just something I enjoy doing. People say, well, you never own the car. Unless you pay cash the day you leave here on our finance contract, you don't own the car either. The bank still owns it either way. So I enjoy leasing. I typically get a new vehicle every 3 years. Every now and again, I'll hold on to one a little bit longer. That's if you like getting a new vehicle every couple of years, you don't drive a whole lot. It makes sense. Typically, you got lower monthly payments. You're not paying for the full depreciation of a vehicle. So if you're buying, I have some numbers written down here, a 2019 LE RAV4, typically that vehicle starts at about $28,500. So if you buy that vehicle, you're going to pay on that full amount. So your monthly payment is going to be based off of that full finance amount plus taxes and tags and stuff like that. Whereas when you lease a car, your payment is figured out via, and this is probably all backwards, so I apologize. But anyways, I'll just read it off to you. So your payment is based off of the amount you're borrowing between your sale price and your residual value. The residual value is basically the estimated trade-in. It's a buyout at the end of the lease if you wanted to keep the vehicle, but your payment is based off of that. There's not an interest rate on leasing. There's called money factors, and they act as the interest rate for the lease. So like I said, it's usually a lesser payment. It will vary with vehicles and stuff like that. Why you should lease? Again, if you like to have a new car every couple of years, if you enjoy doing it, if you don't drive a lot. So the reason I decided to start leasing was at one point my wife and I were in need of a second vehicle, and it was just going to be a runaround vehicle. Wasn't going to drive a whole lot or anything. So I looked at buy numbers on it. It was a new Camry, and it was like $419 a month. And I was like, man, that's a lot of money. So I looked at the lease. The lease on it was $230. Perfect. That totally made a lot of sense to us. Let's just do that. We're under warranty the entire time. It was a Toyota, so you get 2 years, 25,000 miles of free maintenance. So that's why I started to lease. There's not a whole lot of risk involved either. So let's say you lease a vehicle. Let's say you buy a vehicle, and then in 3 years you want to trade it in. Maybe that vehicle's had an accident on it, and that's obviously going to hurt the value of that vehicle. Maybe the manufacturer has come out with a new model or larger rebates. It's going to drop the resale value of that vehicle. So again, on this sheet, I have a residual value here of a 2019 RAV4 LE. This is just guesstimate numbers. This isn't exact numbers, but the residual on it is $17,800. So at the end of 3 years, this is kind of like the guaranteed trade-in or your buyout number for the lease. So you can finance that number again. But essentially in 3 years, you get to know what you're going to go into at the end of your lease. So 17.8 is the number. Let's say the vehicle's had an accident on it. It's going to be less. It's going to be worth less than 17.8. Because you lease that vehicle, you are not responsible for that negative equity. Okay, you get to turn that car back in, and so Toyota would take care of it, and then you get to start free. There's no negative equity or anything like that. If you bought that vehicle and you want to trade it, then you're going to take, let's say it's only worth 16.8. So because of that damage, and maybe it wasn't your fault, you're now going to take a $1,000 hit and transfer that $1,000 into another vehicle. It's going to make, it's going to obviously make your payment go up. Same thing again. If maybe there's a large rebate, or they can discontinue making a vehicle or something like that. That will also impact the resale value. Now on the flip side, let's say the market is in high demand of that vehicle. Let's just say everybody wants these RAV4s, and you know what? I could really use this 3-year-old RAV4 instead of 17.8 as the residual. I'm going to offer you 18.8 to trade it. So it's $1,000 of equity. You get to use that $1,000. You can lease another vehicle. You can buy another vehicle. That's completely up to you. Or at the end of the lease, you can say, you know what, Kyle, I love this thing. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it for $17,800 plus taxes and tags. Now, in the state of Pennsylvania, you do not pay taxes on a lease. You pay a 9% usage tax on a lease. You are only paying tax on the buyout number if you choose to keep the vehicle. Now with that, when you trade a leased vehicle, you don't get any tax credit or anything like that. So like in the state of Maryland, you pay sales tax on a lease, and then you pay sales tax on the trade-in, or on the buyout of the lease also, so you pay sales tax twice. But on the flip side, if you lease a vehicle and you're a Maryland resident and you trade it, you then get a tax credit for it. So again, that's just some quick ins and outs. It's not for everybody. It can be, but like if you drive a lot, so let's just say most leases are 10, 12 or 15,000 miles per year. I have a 3-year-old car with 21,000 miles on. I'm perfect for leasing. I just stay around town, don't do a whole lot of driving. But maybe you drive 25, 30,000 miles a year. It's not going to make much sense to lease. I mean, you can purchase miles and things like that, but you're going to use the vehicle. You're going to use the vehicle a lot more, and it will depreciate a little bit quicker. Trying to see what else here I can possibly go over with you. I think that's really about it. So, but guys, thanks for watching. That's just my quick buying versus leasing. Again, I lease my vehicles. It's something that I enjoy doing. I think I see it 8 years in the business. More and more people are going to leasing. Vehicles are getting more expensive. They're changing so often now. It's not a bad way to purchase a vehicle anymore. I know if you talk to a lot of your parents, grandparents, will say, "Oh, leasing's a ripoff. Don't ever do it." It's not the case anymore. These are what are called closed-ended leases. The residual is set by the manufacturer. There's no owing money at the end of the lease or anything like that anymore, unless there's excessive wear and use damages and whatnot. It can make sense for you if you do. If you think about it, most of you are getting a new phone every 2 years. Some of them are iPhone for life, so every year they come out with a new iPhone. You're getting new iPhones, so you really most people don't keep things very long anymore because the tech is just always evolving. You have to stay. These manufacturers have to stay on the forefront of tech and design and everything like that you as the consumer are demanding. So again, thanks for watching. Please click and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.